On this edition of Let's Talk Cincy, today we introduce you to one of the hottest social media influencers.
My name is Khalil Green, but I go by the Gen Z historian on social media. For the past 5 years, I've been a full-time content creator on platforms like TikTok, Instagram, Substack, LinkedIn, Facebook. And across all platforms since the beginning of my time as a content creator, I've had over 50 million views on my work.
Plus, the Freedom Center's outreach to the next generation of social justice activists.
They do want to work with the various generations, and they do want change, and they want global change.
From WLWT, this is the Emmy Award-winning show, Let's Talk Cincy, presented by Western and Southern Financial Group. Put our financial strength behind you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Curtis Fuller, and welcome to Let's Talk Cincy. I want to begin the show today by shining the spotlight on an impressive young man who I had the opportunity to meet recently. His name is Khalil Green. He is 25 years old and is using his Gen Z perspective to address diversity, equity, and inclusion strategies. Among his many accomplishments, he was elected the first Black student body president in the 318-year history of Yale University. He calls himself a Gen Z historian, and he's using his social media network to generate awareness about some of today's most critical social issues.
I actually was not someone who grew up really interested in history so much. When I came to Yale University, I actually started as a computer science major. It was more of me rejecting things that I didn't like that led me to history as opposed to like going straight to it. So I left computer science as a major. I didn't find it interesting. Same with economics. And then one day I sat on a lecture from a professor about the Cold War, and he was telling me about a plot. We're telling the students about a plot where the United States tried to overthrow a leader in Africa. And the way that he told it was so riveting and so full of energy and life that it made me realize that like history was something that I had not known about, but like could be very interested in. So I took that class and then ended up taking another class, another one, until the point where I had enough credits to become a history major. And I realized that was the path for me.
And you find that young people want to know that truth. They understand that a lot of it's been whitewashed.
Yeah.
Not just about Martin Luther King and the Civil Rights Movement, but about so many other things.
My whole career has been young people being interested in the work of uncovering what I call hidden history, and it definitely intrigues them. It's different being in a classroom and feeling forced to learn dates and memorize important events from being on social media and a really interesting story comes across your screen. And I do much more of the latter, in that I try to find ways of burying history lessons within just very interesting stories above all else. So for example, I can make a video about Martin Luther King Jr. And the FBI plot against him, and within that share more biographical details about his life and about what he did and what he changed for America. And in that way, people are learning while also being entertained.
But I also notice, quite frankly, that there's a lot of junk on social media and a lot of misinformation.
Yeah.
Which is troubling because you're saying the same group of people that you're talking to, they want the truth, but a lot of them are putting out junk.
Well, in addition to teaching people about history in terms of information and facts, you also implicitly teach them about how to research and discern what's good history and what's bad history. So one thing that I do is oftentimes when I put out a short form video, like a shorter video on TikTok or Instagram, I'll accompany it with a newsletter on my Substack. And that newsletter will have everything explained, everything referenced, all the sources right there. So they can see that I'm modeling what it is to be a good historian in order to cite my sources and to make reasonable inferences and estimations based on the data that's available. Whereas another person might just use an AI generated video, do no research and just say something that they heard from someone else. And that is like night and day. I think they can compare and see how one person puts a lot of effort into their storytelling and their history and someone doesn't. And I think ideally the takeaway is that people will be more engaged with critical thinking and more desirable of discernment when it comes to history.
Two things. Give me your resume, if you will. Tell us about who you are, and then give me some perspective of your reach your social media and influencer reach?
Yeah, so my name is Khalil Green, but I go by the Gen Z historian on social media. For the past 5 years, I've been a full-time content creator on platforms like TikTok, Instagram, Substack, LinkedIn, Facebook. Across all platforms, I have over 1 million followers today. And across all platforms, since the beginning of my time as a content creator, I've had over 50 million views on my work. So this includes all the views from individual videos. And before this, I was best known as Yale University's first Black student body president. And it's over 318-year history. So the transition was, I guess, similar work in terms of being a public figure, but now it's a lot more education instead of advocacy. And from my social media platform, I've been hired on a Nickelodeon show to tell news. I was partnering with National Geographic to launch one of their first ever digital series last year. I won a Peabody Award. I was Emmy nominated. I also was labeled just this year as Time Magazine's 100 Most Important People on the Internet, as well as earning a Forbes 330 title in 2024.
It's rough out there on the internet, though.
It is. It can be. It can be. I think I stay away from most of the harsh attacks because a lot of it comes from people wanting to correct you, especially when you're in the history field. And I do a lot of work to make sure that I'm rigorously defending what I'm saying and rigorously supporting it with evidence. So there's not much to attack usually. People, of course, will come with slurs and just bad faith arguments. But luckily, I have enough followers at this point where all of that noise is drowned out by the positivity.
And you find, I'm certain you do, as we all do, you find this new information. You mentioned Claudette Colvin.
Yeah.
Something as what you might think would be basic information had been hidden history. Here's this 15-year-old pregnant girl who was lost in history, even though her name was on the lawsuit.
Yeah.
But it was just hidden. And sadly, it was hidden because of the narrative, maybe even a necessary narrative, I think most would agree, to keep the civil rights movement or place the civil rights movement on a track forward. But it is a disappointing story because, as you said, this is stuff that we're doing to ourselves.
Well, I mean, a lot of my work looks at negative things that have happened. So there's just a lot of shocking stories from American history that are so macabre and like horrific that I just didn't know America actually did those things. Another thing that shocks me is, I mean, one in a positive way actually, is like different stories of solidarity between communities going back to like the early American period. So one of those is like the stories of escaped enslaved African Americans that would live with Native American communities when they marooned in like the more rural parts of the United States, or the ones who escaped to places like Mexico. Like there's a whole community, or at least there was a whole community of Black people in Mexico who sung hymns that were in English, but they spoke no English. And that's because their ancestors came from America when they were escaping slavery here. And we usually learn about Canada, but not usually Mexico. So there's both stories of positivity and stories of negativity that come about when you do deeper research. And I've encountered both. I mean, usually I don't have a call to action beyond just like learning more. I think people can decide, especially like when I get into more controversial topics or whatever, it's a separate conversation to tell someone what to do in the present day than it is to like share history with them that's undeniable. And I think I try to lean more towards the second one. There might be like an inference or like a implied call to action of like activism or standing up against oppression, generally speaking, but I don't tell people what to do. I share information with them and empower them to then use that information to do what they think is right.
Up next.
I think listening to Khalil's message, I think you kind of hear that you know, the more things change, the more they remain the same. We want to try to create a new generation of leaders who basically replicate those principles, courage, cooperation, perseverance, to really lead us into the future.
The conductor gets the signal. A spark alights. Passengers follow the flame. Hand on hand, a quick word, a deadly fright. The river runs, feet Take flight. A hidden spirit ignites. Black skin, souls bright, carry the flame. Through small towns, big cities, highways, subways, hidden spaces in between. No easy job, the conductor says. Freedom doesn't come free. It takes courage, cooperation, perseverance, the simple grace of we who carry the flame. A man at the gas station nods. You're safe. A teenage boy in the siren's glare. Hands up. Don't shoot. They all carry the flame. The conductor is no savior. Not on a t-shirt, a billboard, a front page, but still she carries the flame. It's a long way to the Big Dipper, the old drinking gourd, the promised land, to the place just over the river where hope shines. For all who are oppressed, the journey to freedom must continue. It's up to you. Will you sit back, look away, hands at your side, or will you stand up, get engaged, get involved, be the conductor, carry the light?
Yeah, be the conductor is, you recall the conductors on the Underground Railroad did the dangerous work. They went behind the lines and went into enslavement territory to bring enslaved people to freedom. And so what we wanted to do is basically in honor of our international freedom conductors that we honor who have done these remarkable things, we want to try to create a new generation of leaders who basically replicate those principles, courage, cooperation, perseverance to really lead us into the future.
Do you get the sense that young folks are taking hold of that message?
I think some do, and some I think need to learn. I think some are wanting. I think they want to know, want to understand. I think you kind of listen. I think listening to Khalil's message, I think you kind of hear that the more things change, the more they remain the same. There are a lot of parallels. So I think that what we have a responsibility to do is to inform them, get them to understand that message, and then activate them on that once they understand why it's so important, and open the door for them to step forward and take that leadership mantle.
When they give you feedback, what are they asking for here at the Freedom Center?
What they're asking us for is to help them kind of understand how the past connects to today's world. They have heard a lot, and they read the history books and things like that. What we need to do, what they're asking us for is two things. One is to help us to understand. They want to understand. A lot of them understand that history. But what they want to do is how does that impact me? How does that impact me? And how can I get involved in terms of making a difference? I want to do something. And give me the space to be able to do that. And that doesn't mean you walk away and just leave me there. They do want to work with the various generations, and they do want change, and they want global change.
It is tough for any business in 2026 going forward. You have museums all across the country competing for the same dollar.
Right. Well, I would say that the number one need for the Freedom Center and most nonprofits is basically funding. It is very difficult to get funding these days. A lot of the way fundraising has changed is very different. You can't just pick up a call and call your buddy or somebody like that anymore. You have to show the connection between these funders and donors, between what they believe in, what they want to invest in, and what you're doing, and your ability to deliver it. And you have to show the reliability and credibility to be able to say that I'm going to be able to do what you want me to do. But the number one need for us is funding to do more of the things we want to do, and the more of the things we need to do to be more impactful across the community.
Because I would imagine you're competing with the National Civil Rights Museum and similar organizations, more so than say maybe the ARC down the street.
Oh yeah, Curtis, man, the landscape from when we opened our doors in 2004 to today, the landscape is significantly different. There are so many cultural institutions out there now, at least they were, and they're struggling. A lot of them, just about all of them, are struggling because they're relatively small and they don't have the resources to do some of the things you need to do. If you go for a government grant right now, you better have a really good accounting department, a really good philanthropy department to be able to take care of all the paperwork to get it in, and then the reporting behind it. So there's just so many organizations out there that are asking and they're going to the same pot of money. So what we've been trying to do is we've got some very reliable, long-standing donors here in the Cincinnati market. You probably know who they are. And what we've been trying to do is continue to nurture and steward them. But also we can't assume that this is where we need to stay. We need to broaden our funding base, and we're continuing to move and push out further and further away from the center of Cincinnati while keeping Cincinnati our core, push more and more nationally in terms of our funding. And a program like this, Be the Conductor Change Program, Leadership Change Lab, will help us in terms of attracting funders outside the Cincinnati market. One of the things we did to try to reach that generation is we brought a full-time social media person on staff. This person has nothing to do but do our social media and get our messaging out and build that network. And, one of the things we're pondering where funding would come in handy is do we need more? Because to stay active on social media to help. But we're trying to learn more about how to better use social media in terms of engaging the audiences that we're looking at. We're changing our programming to make it more diverse in terms of attracting, bringing programming in that we think would be more interested. Having speakers who can connect with this generation more directly was a conscious and intentional choice that we made to try to get the word out and try to show people we are listening and we are hearing and we're trying to respond to those clues to try to bring those individuals in. I've been trying to learn more about TikTok and how it works and I'm spending more time with my social media marketing group to figure out how I can better message and also in our marketing plans and everything. We're finding that we brought on a number of younger board members, and we're finding that they're more digitally savvy than some other board members might have been. So I think in terms of being able to get a network and continue to build with this digital platform is something that we're continuing to learn. And I think we're asking people who are out there, and we're getting there. But we're asking people to use that digital platform because we can cover a lot more ground, a lot more efficiently through digital means and media.
Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place. But I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. And He's allowed me to go up to the mountain. And I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. So I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
Those powerful words still resonate as we approach 58 years since Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was murdered as he stood on the balcony of the Lorraine Motel in Memphis, Tennessee, April 4th, 1968. Sadly, we are still dealing with the same issues King talked about in his final speech the night before he was assassinated: war, poverty, and a meanness of spirit infecting this nation and beyond. I asked historian Gary Zola to add some thoughtful commentary to a question Dr. King raised more than a half century ago. Where do we go from here?
He talked about this intersectionality. How significant is that in 2026?
I think it's more important today than it probably has been in years and years, because I think what you said at the very beginning, Curtis, really resonated with me. You remember at the very beginning, you said we're living at a time that's lacking kindness. And as soon as you said that, what came to my mind was Dr. King, just a month or 6 weeks before his assassination, he spoke to a rabbinical conference on the East Coast. It was in honor of Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel. And what does he say to these rabbis? He says, and I'm quoting now, he says, "The appalling silence of good people is astonishing. And we need kind people to speak up now." And I think that the message of opening your heart to other people, not getting involved in what some people are referring to today as oppression Olympics, right? Who is been oppressed worst, but to come together and to do away with oppression and injustice is key. It's key today.
Are you still optimistic? Because it's really mean.
Yes, it's
and ugly,
mean-spirited, yes.
very divisive.
Yes.
We've never been a perfect America.
No.
But are you?
I'll tell you, look, Jews, we have a little saying, a folk saying that hope is the 11th commandment. So, after thousands of years of experiencing this, it's heartbreaking to see all of this on the rise. And it's not just with Jews. It goes across, like you pointed out, there's just a sort of a mean-spiritedness. But I think we all have to be people of hope. Where there's life, there's hope. There has to be. So yes, I cling to it. But I will say this, there's a great deal of work that needs to be done. It is not something that's going to be a page to turn easily. I believe that long after this time has passed, we're going to be dealing with the consequences of this time. And it's disheartening because progress that has been made, in my opinion, we have now seen tremendous setback. But I think there's more good people than there are people of darkness. And the good, Dr. King said, you pointed it out, the only way to drive out darkness is with light.
Well, that does it for the program today. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Curtis Fuller. I'll see you next time for another edition of Let's Talk Cincy. Until then, have a good day and a better day tomorrow.